What if I told you a scary story about an almond? Fear is only in the mind, so the scariest thing in the world is your brain. And the scariest part of your brain is your amygdala. It's about the same size and shape as an almond. Your amygdala is where fear is assessed. It knows what's scary, and then it tells you to be scared. Your amygdala can do a lot of things, but it can also give the blind sight. Blind sight is an ability to respond to stimuli when the person is not even conscious of it. If you were blind, you could still see the danger in front of you. You could see the gun pointed at you in the upper left, or a spider on the right. But most of us don't have blind sight. Blind sight can occur when the eyes are functionally fine, but the part of the brain that processes visual information, the visual cortex, isn't working, so you only see black. And since the eyes are working, they still send information to the amygdala. The amygdala then processes the information to see if anything is dangerous in this info, and then tells the rest of your brain. In experiments, a person with blind sight begins to get scared when shown a scary picture. But because the visual cortex isn't working, the person doesn't know why they're feeling scared. They can even point out where the dangers are, but they just think they're guessing, but they get it right higher than chance. Blind sight is pretty rare, but it's possible because of your amygdala. The amygdala is involved with fear, motivation, learning, memory, reward systems, attention, and other emotions. But it's best known for recognizing and expressing fear. The amygdala receives a lot of information from your senses. It detects if anything could be dangerous to us, and then it labels it as scary. It then sends that info to other parts of the brain to take the appropriate actions, which will cause fear in us. We know the amygdala is so important for us to experience and recognize fear is because of what happens when it's gone. One way to study what a brain area does is to see what happens when it's damaged. You can see what behavior is lost, and then infer that that area did that function. With animals and humans, when both of their amygdalas are damaged, they don't seem to experience fear or anxiety, or even recognize fear in others. Studies with rhesus monkeys have shown that they're no longer afraid of dangerous animals, like snakes. And they go up to random monkeys, which can be dangerous in their highly strict social hierarchy. Humans have similar responses. We don't seem to be afraid of dangerous animals that a lot of people have fears of, like spiders and snakes. We have less inhibition talking with strangers and others, seemingly being outgoing, or not being able to recognize fear or anxiety in others' facial expressions, but also having a very optimistic outlook on life despite maybe having a traumatic one. Everything is fine when you can't imagine anything to be afraid of. The amygdala also helps with the expression of emotion, fear, anxiety, and aggression. And people with damaged amygdalas do not express much emotion in general. But I know I express emotion, and especially when I'm running away from something scary. Since the amygdala triggers your fears, it also activates your fight or flight response. It pumps us full of adrenaline and we are good to go. Fight or flight is built into us to help protect ourselves from quick dangers, like a bear attack. Roar! It shuts down our immune system and digestion, because they aren't needed for quick actions. But today we aren't doing much running away. We are doing more dreading. In today's age, our fight or flight response is not so great. Dreading on if we'll get that project done on time, or something like cyberbullying. These new fears span weeks to years, and a rush of adrenaline is not going to help with that. We use an old system for modern threats, and our bodies become worn out. High stress for a long time leads to chronic diseases. Stress affects our digestion and cardiovascular systems, and it slows down our immune system. So let's all relax and save our lives. Some ways to prevent long-term stress are deep breathing, exercise, mindful meditation, music, cuddling, and being with friends and family. The first step is to be aware of how stressed you are, and then take action to lessen it. There are some links below that might help. I know this is trite and oversimplified, but I always like to think of this little flow chart that helps me calm down because all the directions just lead to don't worry about it. So let's see what gets your amygdala going, and let me know what you're afraid of. So many almonds.